Hi, everyone. I want to start by welcoming you into this 1 hour session where you would learn to build your very first Tableau dashboard. But before I start, I want to start with the words of Peter Drucker, who said that whatever cannot be measured cannot be improved. Can I extend it a bit further by telling you a story? In the United States, a particular hospital noticed that their hospital staffs, particularly the nurses and those in the nursing unit, were not adhering to the medical practice that requires you to wash your hands both before and after you see a patient. The hospital, in a bid to correct this abnormally, could have gone vindictive, that is, for trying to punish their staff members. But what is the point of punishing your staff members when literally every one of your staff is going to be caught in this snare? So the hospital thought about another empowering way to get the best result. And then what did they do? They churned up a data analytics platform, on real time, using the tool of AI. So what they did was they put up a dashboard that was monitoring how staff members wash their hands, or nursing staffs wash their hands, both before and after meeting a patient. Now, as they effectively wash their hands, for each time they wash their hands, the score of the hospital went right up. Yeah, they improved the score. Once people knew that their actions were impacting and improving the outcomes of the hospital, they did what? They literally adhered. Now, in a very short while, less than a week, the hospital score went right off the roof. It means people bought into it. You understand? Now, the power of building data dashboards is very empowering for any team. Again, with the words of Peter Drucker, whatever cannot be measured cannot be improved. I hope I've drawn you in a bit more. So come with me and let's see the rudiments of building your first simple dashboard. We'll take it further in the next video by showing you other interesting things that we can bring on board. And then I'm sure you're going to have a swell time doing this. Thank you very much. Now, what is Tableau? Tableau is an interactive software, and it's very good for what? Analyzing data and visualizing it. Now, it's one of the best in the industry. If you go on Google, you could just Google best visualization tools, and Tableau will literally come out number one. Yeah. It has the drag and drop interface that makes it so easy to learn and to get to use and to get acquainted with. So Tableau is your go-to tool for data analysis and for data visualization. Having said that, let's look at a brief agenda of what we'll be trying to cover today. The very first of what we'll be trying to cover today would be understanding the basic Tableau suite. Understanding the basic Tableau suite. Now, thereafter, we will look at how to download Tableau. And then we will go into talking about connecting to the data. How do we connect to data so that before we go into analyzing them? And thereafter, we're going to look at analyzing data, as in true visualizing them. We'll talk about discrete and continuous data types, dimensions and measures. We'll look at max cards. We'll look at filters. We'll look at chart types. And then we'll put it all together and come up with our beautiful dashboard, a simple, beautiful, well-meaning dashboard. All right. I hope you're ready to go. Now, but before we take off, let us have a quick look at the product suite. Yeah. Now, Tableau has a product suite that begins from the data preparation stage. So data prep. Yeah. So a lot of times when data is given to you, it's going to be either not very well structured. It might need some cleaning. It might need some wrangling. It might need some preparation before you go into the full analysis that can rival any other tool in the market. And this tool is the Tableau Prep tool. And thereafter, they also have the Tableau desktop, which is what is used for analysis and visualization. Now, Tableau desktop is not free. Just like the Tableau prep, it's not free. It comes in a suite. Now, you have to pay for it either monthly or you subscribe quarterly or yearly. However, Tableau has been very magnanimous enough to replicate the Tableau desktop tool, giving us a web version of it, the Tableau public tool, which is what we're going to be using as the basis for this training. If you've got the Tableau public tool, you can do so much. It's powerful enough to help you do literally every and anything. Now, once you are done analyzing your data, you would want to share the data for people to see your work, either see your portfolio of work or you want to collaborate with colleagues in the workplace. Now, this is where the data sharing and collaboration side comes in, where Tableau Public and Tableau Server comes in. Yeah, Tableau Server is an organizational centric suite. It's a cloud centric suite for organizations. So that's for in an organization they have, so you can share data within an organization. Yeah. But when you go with Tableau Public, you're actually going with the open source, not really open source. You're going with you're bringing it to everyone. Everyone, it's on the internet. Everyone can share, can see what you have. Now, I'll just be quick and I'll show you what Tableau Public could look like quickly. Yeah, and if you come in here, Tableau Public, yeah. Now, Tableau Public allows you as it were to showcase your work. Yeah, so that's my Tableau Public suite. My name, you see the works, the public works I have done. Yeah, and they're all kept there. You could follow me, connect. It would be good to see what you do after this training. Now, there are loads of great creators, some of which I follow and some of which are in the community. Follow them, learn a whole lot, a big deal from them. Yeah. So having said that, let's go back to today's work. Now, very quickly, let's get started. We'll get started by downloading the software. So here we are. Just copy the link. The link will be on the description. Copy the link just the way it is, and then you're going to have put it in there. Good. Now, if you've got this done, then your screen should look like this. You download Tableau Public. Now you click on this, it will give you will be able to download Tableau Public, either for Windows or for Mac. Yeah. Now, but if it requests for you to sign up, supply your details, it's pretty straightforward. Just supply your details, submit it, and then it will give you an opportunity to download, like I'm doing at the moment. You download it. Yeah. Once it's downloaded, then we can go start our journey for today. Now, the first thing you do when you have downloaded this is the need for you to connect to the data you want to analyze. The need to connect to the data you want to analyze. Now, first and foremost, the question is, where did you store the data? You have to download the data, and then you would use that. So on the description, I have given you a link to download the sample superstore data. Yeah. So you download the sample superstore data, store it somewhere lovely on your system, and then we'll take it off from there. Now, it depends on what you want to connect with. If you're connecting with an Excel file, you see, that's where you pick it up from. But if your file is CSV, then you will go for the text file. Yeah, go for text file. Trace exactly to where you have the file. So you have a CSV file here, for instance. Yeah. Now, please carefully navigate your way to where you save the file. Is another CSV file is here. Yeah. So a CSV file is a text file. But if it's an Excel file, you come use this one and then trace yourself to where you found the file. All right, cool. Now, there are several other file types that can be connected to Tableau. Now, they include the JSON files, access, PDF, PDFs, spatial data, but we won't spend a lot of time here. In subsequent videos, we will show you how to connect to particular different types. For our job for today is creating your first visualization, very first. Yeah, I need to give you something that will encourage you to keep yourself on the table. So now, let's say when you click on this Excel, which is because the file I shared with you is an Excel file, trace your way to the desktop or the downloads or wherever you have saved it, documents, trace it to where you saved the file. And once you get it, this is my own. I've traced it to where I saved it. I'll pick it up, Superstore, and open. I hope you got it. Now, when you open the file, now here is the file you opened. When you open the file, the next thing is the system populates how many. I'm just going to show you what this is like. So quickly come with me. I'm going to navigate to that file. So documents, Tableau repository, workbook, data source. That's where I left it here. Okay, so this is the file. Yeah, let's open this file and have a look. Now, if you look at this file, my friends, you would notice that it has a couple of sheets, an Excel file with 1, 2, 3 sheets. Yeah, I hope that's clear. 1, 2, 3 sheets. Okay, now you see each and every one of those sheets: order, people, return, order, people, return. Look at it. Order, people, return. So it populates that for you automatically. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't go into the data interpreter for today because I want you to have to navigate really easy your first visualization. So we're going to drag only orders for today, and we're going to drop it right in there. Lovely, lovely. I wish you can see that. Yeah. The system looks at it. It gives you like an overall summary of what is happening in your data. And they include the fact that your data has 21 fields. Literally, for those who are just coming into the world of data, 21 fields means 21 columns of data. Yeah. So if you count these, A, B, C, D, E, F, yeah, if you keep going, so it stops at Q. Yeah. U, can you see U? So it tells you this is 21 fields of data. And then if you scroll right down here, now look at this. Look at this. Let's scroll to the end. I think Control N will take us to the end. Yeah, Control End. Yeah, that's a simple Excel shortcut. Now 10194. That's where it stops. I hope you can see that. 10194. Can you see it? Okay. So now, having seen that, let's go check what it tells us. 10194 rules. You see? So the system is intelligent enough to read your data. Very intelligent, it reads your data. Now, having carefully read your data, we're going to go right into today's work, helping you visualize your first data visualization. Now, there are loads you can do in this environment. Now, one of the first things I will want to talk to you about is the fact that you can actually if you look at this place, you see ash. ABC. You see the date symbol? Yeah. This kind of gives you an idea of what the data type for that row is, for that column is. Now, when you see an hash, you can open it up. When you see an hash, it means it's a number. So it takes it as a number. When you see this, a calendar sign, it means it's a date. And when you see an ABC, it means it's a string. Yeah. There are use cases where you could change this. But again, for today, we are not trying to go really neck deep. We're trying to help you build your first visualization. So we'll stay within scope and then talk about the things that are most essential in your journey to building your first visualization. So having said that, we could come in here, open it up. Where did we come? We moved from here and you see sheet. We opened it up. Yeah. Now, the way Tableau is designed, it's designed as loosely coupled sheets that can be brought together, yeah, and formed to form a dashboard. So you're going to create multiple sheets and bring them together to form what? A dashboard. Now, when you come into a sheet, you can do one analysis, or for now, we'll do one analysis per sheet. One analysis per sheet. Now, let's spend a little time and appreciate the environment where we find ourselves, the sheet environment. Now, first and foremost, the first thing you may need to look at is it's here. You have the max card, you've got filters, you've got rows, you've got columns. Now, this is the data set that we are dealing with is the superstore data. And as a superstore data is actually data collected from a store. Yeah. So one of the things we may want to look at here could be profits. And we could look at profit based on product category. We could look at profit based on locations. We could look at profit based on states and all of that. So let's start by looking at profit based on category. So what you do is you drag category to the row, and then you see you can drag profit to the columns. Hello, I hope you stayed with me so far. Okay. Now, having done this, the first thing you're going to ask me is, one of them turns to green and the other one turns to blue. Now, whether it's a green or it's a blue, once a data item, these are data items, the ones under here, data items. Now, whether they are dimensions or they are measures, they are called a data item. One word for that. Yeah. Once a data item is drawn from the table and dropped on the worksheet, that data item it comes to the worksheet as a peel. You see, it looks so much like the peel, like you take when you aren't feeling well. Yeah. Now, when a data item is a number, quantitative numbers, numerical, that data item, it's called a measure. Did you get that? When a data item is a number, when a data item is quantitative, when a data item is numerical, that data item is called a measure. Yeah. Now, when a data item, it's a measure, is actually typified by a green peel. A measure is typified by a green peel. You got that? Now, when a data item is actually qualitative, not a number, qualitative, a string, qualitative, that data item is normally typified by a blue pill, and it's called a dimension. A dimension. So now, by putting the dimension on the rows and putting the measure on columns, we have what we have is a chart, a bar chart. Now, there is something interesting about the Tableau tool. It's intelligent enough to think for you what kind of chart will best suit what you just dragged and dropped. Intelligent enough. However, it's your choice if that's the way you want to leave it. However, for now, we're going to stick with what we already have. Now, whether we want to do these the way it is now, we can carefully see that technology is the category that has earned us the most profit. What did I call it? The most profit, as you can see. Now, but when we go into speaking about in one of our videos, where we'll be speaking about visual cues, we will talk a bit about the reason why we cannot leave it the way it is. But very quickly, it's easy for people to see it when it is sorted better than the way it is. So in this case, we will talk briefly about sorting the data. Sorting the data. Now, to sort the data, and if you look already, the data automatic, I told you the system is intelligent. So the system automatically sorts this data. And the basis for the sort, if you've seen it, automatically, the basis for the sort, it's sorted using the alphanumeric ascending order. Yeah. So F comes before an O, and O comes before a T. So by default, it sorts this. However, that's why to sort, what you simply do is you come here, drop it down, and then you click on sort. Now, if you watch what we have already, you would notice that the system already had sorted, and it used what? The data source category, and sorted it in ascending manner. Now, for us to change the way we want, now for us to influence the way we want these to be sorted, you can come down here, sort by. So you set the condition for which it should sort this. So I'm going to set the condition, and I'm saying use a field. What did I say? Use a field. Yeah, so I'm setting a basis for the sort, and that basis should be what? A field. I hope you got that. Now, having said that, what should that field be? In this case, we want you to use the field profit. And if you use the field profit, so you see the system automatically also is intelligent enough to pick up the field you want it to pick up. Now, I must pause here to say this. The reason why the system got this right, absolutely right, is because the only field other than category on this stuff is profit. If there were more than one field, you would need to come here and influence the field you want to use for the sort. So in this case, profit is absolutely right. However, we want it done by descending manner. Okay, that is good to go. Now, can you see that we have sorted the data by descending manner, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now, representing this data the way it is, we can see, yes, absolutely, that technology earned us more profit than any other category. However, it's a bit strenuous. Look, it's a bit strenuous for us to see what profit exactly came from technology. Now, to make that easy for us, we will be introducing the concept around what? Max card. Max card. Yeah. Now, what are max cards? Max cards are a couple of functions that would allow us, yeah? I don't know if I got that. Okay, max cards. Now, the whole of this section is called a max card. Here. Yeah. Now, there's a lot that we're going to be able to achieve using max cards. Now, we're going to take profit, and whenever you want to duplicate a pill, you have to press the control button down, drag that pill, and drop it in where you want it to go. Because I'm trying to duplicate a pill. Yeah. Now, if you don't use the control button pressed down, you see, you press the control button down, then you what? Now, if you don't hold the control button down all through the period of doing this, this is the experience you're going to have. You're literally going to take this off and drop it at that point. Now, you could use the Control Z to undo, Control Z to undo. Yeah. Also, another way to undo here, you use this icon. Look, the icon here to undo or redo. Yeah, good. Now, because we want to be able to duplicate, what are we going to do? We're going to hold control down, drag these and drop it on the first max card we're going to be talking about. Item on the max card we want to talk about. The first item on the max card for today will be the item called label. Label. Whenever you want to see anything on the worksheet, and when I mean the worksheet, this is where our attention is. Once we mean the worksheet, we're talking about displays. Yeah. Once you have any interest of seeing anything on the worksheet, that thing will have to be what? Dropped at the what? Label. And if you watched our experience as we dragged profit onto label, Viola, you were able to see the exact profit on label. So the label item is used to help you see everything that has been what? Everything that has been what? Everything that you want to see on the worksheet. Yeah. All right. Very good. Now, let's talk briefly about colors. Now, if I want to influence the colors of the bars, I could as well drag category and dropped it in color. You see, by that experience, I would be able to what? Show each category by the colors. So whenever you want to distinguish dimensions or measures based on what? Colors, then colors become a good way. Now, I've showed you how to use dimensions. Dimensions, remember the word dimensions, qualitative data items. Now, again, I'm going to show you how to what? Use colors with measures. Now, in this case, what we're going to do is the only measure here is profit. I'm going to drag profit, but because I'm duplicating, control down, and I'm going to drop it in the column section. Amazing, is it? Now, you see, it produces what we call a gradient. It's a really nice stuff to use, using gradient to represent numbers. So I'm going to show you, literally, I'm going to show you a couple of things, how each of these can be used. Now, if you look at the work done here, now look at this. If you look at this, you are going to see gradients used here. Look at this. So this is a measure, but because based on the total complaints, the number of complaints, the deeper the line shows you the periods where we had a lot of complaints. Yeah. Now, the deeper the state also shows you the states that had a lot of complaints. So this is a good example of how you use colors to represent a gradient of a measure. Yeah. So a measure, but it shows gradients as in terms of number. The thicker or the deeper the color, the more of that measure. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, having said that, so we've discussed how to use colors, we've discussed how to use labels. Let us have a quick look at how to use, so I'm going to take away the colors, and then I'm going to talk about how to use the details. Now, we were looking at category against profit. Now, for each category, it has a subcategory. So by bringing subcategory right now and dropping it on details, look at this. Now, it will give you a different visualization entirely. But what are we trying to do in essence? We want to be able to see the amount of profit that we got from each category. So you look at this one, look at this. You see phones in technology, huge profit. Copiers, huge profit. But you see, there are some of them that are way below. They were giving us a negative sign, like tables in furniture. They were giving us negative signs. Office supplies, negative. So you see, by bringing details, detail helps you to hone on into the details of the chart. Yeah, so that's what details help you to do. Okay, having said that, we've already begun to enjoy the benefit of tooltips. Yeah. Now, when you hovered on any of the bars, did you notice it produced some form of engagement, giving you more insight, more context? Now, a tooltip, and again, the system, like I explained at the beginning, the system is called a business intelligence tool. Tableau is a business intelligence tool. So it's intelligent enough to be able to help you put some things together. However, you could on whatever it's done for you to get the most out of what is going on. I hope that's clear. So in the tooltip, you can open it up. The system also has curated, based on the things you dragged and dropped, the system has curated a lot of information in there for you already. You could format all of these, change the font, you could change the font, you could change the text, you could change the size, the boldness, yeah, and the representations. Moreover, you could add more things for it to show into this place. Yeah, interesting. Now, again, I'm going to show you based on one of my visualizations, the power of tooltips. Look at this. When you hover on this chart, so it's complaint by issues. Now, because we try to keep, this was an inspired work by one of the ladies in the community. She inspired the visualization. Yeah. Her name is Ganges. Now, when you put this together, it gives you a drill down. When you hover on this, now it gives you what we call the sub issues, because there are issues. So let's say, for example, the complaint like ATM card issues in the bank. You complain to your bank about ATM cards. Yeah. Now, card transactions. So there are various card transactions. So the issue there will be what? Card transaction. But there are sub issues that need to be dealt with. Yeah. Now, these sub issues, we also what? We put them into the tooltip so that we don't have to make another chart for them. So sub issues of this issue were captured in the what? In the tooltip. Hello. So that's again the power of tooltips. All right. Now let's keep going. So we're gonna go back again by undoing, Control Z, or you use the tool here to undo. Okay. So we've talked about colors. We've talked about size. Okay, we've talked about labels in very short. Let's talk about size. Now, size is a data item that particularly it works with measures. And I'll show you why. So let's drag profit, sum of profit, and drop it on size. Look at this. I'm going to open this up and make it bigger. Now, what this is saying is let the bars be as big as the size of the profit. You see, because of the size of the profit we gain from furniture, the bar is so small. Yeah. So this data item called size, what works largely based on what? A measure. It doesn't work without a measure. When you place a measure on it, it will be used to influence the whole chart. Having said that, let's undo that temporarily and then keep going. The next thing we have, so we've looked at the max card very carefully, and then we've been able to look at a few of the items here, like the undo, the redo. We've also looked at the sorting, how to sort, yeah, either ascending or descending. Yeah. We could also look at how to transpose a chart. So this does this. It turns the chart around either vertically or horizontally, depending on what you are trying to represent. Now, there's a short cut for that, Control W if you're using a Windows, and then Command W if you're using a MacBook. Yeah. Okay, so I'm largely using a Windows, so I'm going to give you shortcuts largely using Windows. Okay. Now, having said that, where do we go from here? So we've been able to see this, and then you can actually, let's talk briefly about the views. Automatically, the system uses the standard view. But my preference is the entire view. And I'll tell you what, more than 70% of the time, you will have to use entire views. However, there is a use case. There is a use case for every other kind of view. But more than 70%, you would have to use the entire view. So I oftentimes, by default, want to work with the entire view. Now, as you build your chart, this is your first chart, looking at profit against category. As you build your chart, one of the things I want you to begin to think about is the question, how relevant are some of the things on my chart to me? And if you look at that very carefully, you would notice that these Y and X axis, as it were, really has no relevance to you. The story can be told without these charts. So when you want to remove an axis, obviously we want to remove this axis because it's not relevant. What you would do is right click on this and then say remove header. Again, because it wasn't relevant. Yeah. Now, next thing we could do is look at this field label. Again, this is not relevant. So we could right click on this and you could say what? Hide field label. Having done that, you have done, the chart looks a lot cleaner, a lot better, and we can take it off from there. One of the things I would also encourage you to do is to be able to do this, to come in here and give every chart a name. So we're going to write call it, change that and put it profit by category. Category. You could format this, make it look really cool. Apply, and then you have it. There you have it. Profit by category. Now, I know you are eager to know. Your question will be, one of your questions will be, so every chart simply has a row and a column. Yeah, for now we will stay with a row and a column until our next video, because I want it to stay simple, understand everything happening around here. And once you do, then you're going to be perfectly fine. Now, having done this, I think we've been able to look very critically at what? The profit by category. The next thing we're going to do is, it's a good practice, and I would fully recommend that you name your sheet profit by category. Now, how did I go about that? You right click on the sheet, say rename, and then give it a name. Rename, give it a name. Now, when you say give it, you type the name you want it to bear, and then you press enter. That sheet is done. The next thing we're going to have a look at is we want to be able to see what was the trend. This profit, how did we make it? Was there a particular month that we made a lot of money? We're eager to understand. So again, don't forget the rule. One analysis to a worksheet. So I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to go right in here. So, and in this case, we're going to use, should we use order date? Let's use order date. Take order date. And order date in this case, when we move the date to the chart, it shows up as what? Year. It shows up as year. Now, the system, I want to move it to columns. If you want to break these further, and again, look at that. It shows the date as what? A dimension, as a discrete data type, discrete. Now, what we mean by discrete, it means individualistic. It stands alone, discrete, stands on its own, So it's going to give us the outcome for 2021 on its own, 2022 on its own, 2023 on its own, 2024 on its own, discrete. Everything is on its own. Now, should we drag, look at this. Should we drag profit, which is a measure, don't forget it, right in here? I said I love to use the view, entire view, so let's put it on the entire view. Now, if we do this, again, the system automatically generates this for us in a line chart. Did you see automatically it created a bar chart before? Now, automatically it creates a line chart. Now, you don't leave. It's okay, the system is intelligent, but it's not in your place to leave the whole thinking for the system. You could have your original thoughts. So in this case, you could decide to say, no, I want to go for what? A bar chart. To see the profit by each discrete year, each unique year. And you can look, if you see that, that's pretty interesting to look at. It means we are making a significant profit year in, year out. So it means we are making progress. However, you may be more akin to developing this in a better way. And then this could be, I'm going to break this down. So from here, you see, it has a plus sign, meaning you can break this down into what? Year and quarter. Did you notice that? It churned up the quarter sign. Now, again, you could go break this further this way. And if you do, you will notice that in July and January for 2021 and for 2022, we ran at a loss. So you see, this chart will help you to see the months or the months where you ran at a loss. Now, but again, you may want to represent this as a line chart. So this might not help you tell your story. So you need to rethink what helps me tell my story. Now, for you to get the best experience with a line chart here, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to also remove this. So in this case, I'm going to turn this into what? A continuous data. Continuous. Okay? And you see, it shows as a line still. Now, I could turn this again back to what? Now, you could change the year completely and say, I want this to go this way. It's a continuous data, but I want it to go May. Now, month, using month. See what we did? It's set in continuous month from May. So it's using month now. So it's going to use month of 2021 will be different. Month of May 2022 will be different. May 2023 will be different. May 2024 will be different. Yeah, so it's going to show a trend like that. Yeah. Now, that's the experience you're going to have here. So you see here you have what? January 2021. Here would be Jan 2022. You're going to have it somewhere here, Jan 2023. And then there's another Jan here. Right here. Okay, here. That's it. Okay. Now, this is where your journey takes you, as it were. And it depends on what you are trying to, the story you are trying to tell. How you would use date depends on the story you are trying to tell. Now, if I want to get a line chart that flows over a period, I would love to use date across months, just the way it is. Now, but if you want to use it the other way around, you could turn it back to discrete and then have it the way you want it to be. So for today, let's use it as what? A line chart. Now, and again, we could use, this is where we could use a measure on the color. Yeah? Did you notice what that happens? It shows a gradient where the yellow side represents losses and then the blue side represents profits. The deeper the blue, the deeper the profit. Now, in the previous one, you remember, we came to this place and then we pulled up the show header. Now, in this chart right now, would we want to remove the show header? Is that place irrelevant? No, it's not irrelevant. Why? Because it captures what? It captures a relevant information, which is the year of date. Yeah. So in this case, what you would do is to come here, right click. Instead of saying unchecking the show header, edit the axis. What am I trying to take off here? I'm trying to take off something. So I want to take off the title, this title here, month of order date. So I would say custom, and I'm going to come here, wipe this off. Once you wipe that off, if you've watched, see, by default, that goes off. Yeah? Okay. I'll close this and I'll leave it the way it is. Now, this is very relevant now. And then I'm going to come in here and give it a new name. What should we call it? Let's call it profit over period. Profit over period. Got it? Hold it. Apply that. Okay. Now we have ourselves two interesting charts. Profit over period. So let's call this profit, not period. So profit over period. Did you get that? Profit over period. Yeah. Now we have ourselves two interesting charts, profit over period and profit by category. Again, you could change the name of this to profit over period. All right, we're going to build our first chart, our first dashboard. You remember I said to you at the beginning that using dashboards are used to loosely couple sheets. Now, we're going to do this very intelligently. First and foremost, let us have a think. We're going to ask ourselves, how do we want to represent this work? Yeah. So it's like there's a design technique to it. There's a design technique to it. So I'm going to start by thinking about, okay, I have two charts like this. So literally, I think in the words that you might have heard before or understand, it's called the world of wireframing. Wireframing, drawing a dummy of what you are trying to achieve. Yeah. So I have two charts and I want to bring it together. Now, the first thing I might think about is drawing something like this. So I'm going to draw a chart here. So let's see this. I'm going to do this. Okay, one. Then I'm going to draw another one here. Where is it? Okay, follow me. Here on this one, I want to put the title of the dashboard. And then on this other one, I want to put, what should we put here? On this other one, I'm going to put two of my charts. So they're going to look something like this. Okay, so now this is the kind of thing that we're going to have. Maybe I already like this, the color here. I think it's a cool color. So I'm going to see if I can have it. Let's see if I can have it. So I'm going to copy the hex. Okay, so you wireframe. You kind of try to conceptualize. What is the journey like? How is it going to look like? And then we come up with this design. Now let's go to work. Now, remember, look at this place. look very critically around this area. So I'm going to come show you a place here. Look at this place. You see, the first one, when you hover on it, it's how we create new sheets, this one. The second one is how we create a dashboard. So there you go. We've created our first dashboard. Again, we'll leave a lot of things very simple. We'll leave the dimensions very simple. We're not going to try to break anything. Now, the first thing we're going to do is remember you have a concept in your mind, and this is the concept. Now, to help you manage this and have it looking really sleek, you're going to need what we call containers. So I'm going to show you the world of containers. So let's get started. So here, I'm going to drag in. First, I'm going to drag in. By default, there is a container on the background. So I'm going to drag in a text. That's the way I create containers for ease. So I'm going to call that text 1. I'm going to make it the size of really large size. I'm going to make it 72. Then I'm going to drag in another text. Now watch, the system is so intelligent. Again, watch this. If I drag this text and if I bring it to the dashboard, you see, it tells me where it wants to fit it. That's why you see the dark gray lines. If I don't like that place, I could take it up. It will fix it up there. If I don't like that place, I'm going to put it here. It will fix it here. And if I don't like that place, it will take it here. It will fix it here. For this one, I want it here, which is, I want them 2 layers. So I'm going to call it 2. 2. I'm just going to show you. So 2. Now, so it looks like this, 1 and 2. Again, don't forget the wireframe. Dashboard 1. So dashboard 1. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to make this 1 here. I want you to remember these all the time we're going to be working. So I'm going to call this 1 here. Just make it, yeah. And I will call the other one 2. That's the big one. I'll call it 2. Okay. I guess you're still with me. So the big one is called 2, the title one is called 1. Now, that is perfect now. Now, these are not containers. These are placeholders. It's the way I go about designing containers. It makes it really simple. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is now I want to bring in a container now. Now, I'm going to bring in the first container. So any one you choose is fine. Either horizontal or vertical, it's fine. Drag it and I put it at the middle. Yeah? Now, once I put my container, now watch this. Data items or every other data item like worksheets and all that, they have brownish, yeah, dark grayish, very dark gray lines, borders. Can you see when you highlight them, they look dark gray. But when you highlight a container, it looks like blue. The color is blue. Yeah. Now, having put in a container here, I'm going to come here, drag 1. Now, how do you drag? You highlight them, highlight the text. You see this place, once you hover on that place, it activates a cross sign. You hold the mouse down, drag it nicely and neatly into the container. There you have it. So now if you want to check what you've done, highlight 1 by clicking on it, double click on that header, its head, and you would notice that 1 is now embedded. Where is 1? 1 is now embedded in where? In the container carrying it. Yeah. Now, on the flip side, if you activate 2, like you double clicked on 2, 2 is in the larger container. Yeah, so look at 1 embedded in its own container now before the larger container. I hope you got that. Whereas 2, it's in the larger container. So we want to also give 2 its own personal container. So I'm going to drag another container. It doesn't matter what you drag, anyone is fine. Bring it in here. Now I'm going to drag 2. Don't forget the steps. Click on it, highlight it, get on its head, drag it into. We see when you drag it into a place, it tells you where it's going to enter. And you can see it's telling you exactly where it's going to enter. Oh, good job. See, when you highlight 2 now, 2 has conveniently found a place for itself. Hello. I'm sure you're still with me. We're rounding it up. So it's getting easier now. Now, let's put it together. This is 1. I'm going to double click on it and the container is active. I'm going to drag it up a bit. So that's the title. I can now give it a title. The title will be My First V's. And I'm gonna, okay. So that's the title. We're looking ready to go. Yeah. Now, having gotten this done, let's add some more value in here. We're going to bring in 2. Inside 2, don't forget I told you 1 and 2 were placeholders. Now I've turned the 1 into a text. So 2 is also a placeholder for us. So we're going to drag in profit by category inside here. And then we're going to drag in profit by over period inside here. You see, when it comes, it asks me where it should now. Now, after, let's do this again. Let's do this again. Profit by category. You see where it shows me, I can see that's the second container. I can see where it is. You see, there is a way I would flip my hands and it will show me something like this. I will know that is no longer the second container. Now to get in the right container, just here. Hope that makes sense. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Now, having done that, it's right in the second container. You could check by clicking on its head and you can see it aligns very well in the second container. The last thing you're going to do right now for today is you're going to drag this and you're going to bring it in here. Now, you don't need this for now, so I'm going to wipe it off. Now we don't need the 2 anymore. It was a placeholder. We take it off. So we have our first visualization. Yeah, our first visualization. Now, for every chart that we brought in here, can you notice something? It's checked blue. It means it's already on the dashboard. Now, I'm going to say one more thing to you. I'm going to share one more thing to you, which is formatting containers to bring out that beauty, that fine, sweet spot that makes visualizations amazing. Let's talk about padding in containers. Now, watch this. I'm going to go back and activate this. I want to use the color we did. So in that container, come to layout, activate the container. How do you activate the container? The first thing, find the container. That's the container. Now I'm going to turn that to what? A background color. I want to give it a background color. And what color do I want to use? The one that we had picked on earlier. Remember? Can we go get it in Word? We had it here. So we had it. So where is it? The field, yeah? Let's see if we can copy that. Yeah, that's it. So we get that container. We're going to come look for this other container and then go to its background. Give it that same color. Amazing. Now, we've done that. Now, before we continue, we want to be able to, now watch, we are in the first container now. Before we continue, we want to be able to make the first container, because watch what we had here. We had what we call white spaces. So the distance from this container and outside, there was space here, there was space here, there was space here, there was space here. So, and there's even space under here. So we want to create those white spaces. To create white spaces around an object, what you do is you use outer padding. So we're going to come to outer padding and we're going to pad it by 25. Did you notice anything? It pushed off space. 25 on this side, 25 on this side, 25 on this side. We could make this white so that we can have it looking bolder. My first views. Are we together? Awesome. Now the same thing we will do on this one. We'll activate the container. So we will activate the container by clicking on this and then setting it up. And then we also will do an outer padding for it for 25. There you go. Now you see it aligns with this one. Aligns 25 on this side, 25 on this side. This is a cool, real cool alignment. Yeah? Now, once you've done this, you have your first visualization. However, you may not like the white in here. So how do you take off the white? By default, a worksheet comes with a white by default. Yeah? So what do? You go to Windows, worksheet, format, shading, set the worksheet to none. So you have this experience, and then check this one and set it to none. And it takes away that entirely off it. Now, because of the kind of chart that we're using here and the background color, one last thing that we can do to bring our work and make it a lot more sleek, and that's called formatting. So we can go into the worksheet like this and then format it. Let's start by formatting the color of the bars. So I'm going to touch on the color of the bars first. I will make it gray. Yeah, let's see how that effect looks. Doesn't look bad at all. So we just could do one more. See how that works here. So we've been able to influence that. We could come in here, format this one. Now to format the labels here, look at these labels. You right click on it, format. You could format the font, format the color, format whatever you would love to format here, it's fine. And you could also format things like the alignment. You could format the size to 11. Again, you could use the size to drill, to make the bars smaller. Yeah? And then the label, you could also give it a color that will make it pop. Apply that, and there you are. Okay, let's see what it looks like on the dashboard. It looks it's coming out, looking really sleek. Yeah? Now, if you and me notice, you will notice that the writings in here are very close to the edges. And that doesn't make for a good work. So what we could do is we could go back to the container and then say to it, layout, and say inner padding, meaning had it inside. Now watch the difference, my friends. So this into this, I use 15, let's this 10. So I'm going to use 20 and use 20 on this one. So 20, 20. Yeah. Now, 2020, I'm going to increase the size of the dashboard so that it's longer. It needs to be longer, a bit longer. Yeah. We'll talk about sizing of dashboards a bit later. So 2020, you see, this has created space along this side. You see, from here to this place, there is a lot more space. Now, we could as well even do a little more. Let's see what we can do more to see if we can get more out of it. Let's see if we can make 30. You see, it indents the work to this side more and then also to this side. So it creates white space this time around the white V's. Again, let's try using that here. So we're going to try using same idea in these charts. So you have 15, 15. Do we use 20? 20. Should we use 20 here to inner padding? We're using inner padding so that we can, yeah. Okay. This, my friends, looks really good. You can format this text here. Again, don't forget you can format it. Format the text so that it comes out looking better. Yeah. And then you have your first visualization ready to be shared with your community. Allow me to say one last thing about labels before we leave this place, about labels. Now look, we could drag these, if you want to see the data points, just need to drag these to labels. Anything you want to see, what do? Put it on labels. You see, when you do this, it looks very dirty. But a good rule of thumb here could be come to labels. Instead of automatic, change this to what? Min max. Min max. So it's only going to show you what? The maximum profit and the minimum profit. Yeah, you can manipulate this for a lot of things, and then you could have different experiences. So play with labels and then let me know what other videos you would like me to discuss around labels if you would. Okay, so you see that experience comes out. You can as well go on to share this, connect with your Tableau public. If you can't connect that way, come this way, Windows Server, public, and say save to public. Save to public. And that will take you straight to public where you can sign on and then share your videos. Thank you very much for being with us today. It's been a very good time. So talk to you again till I come your way again with the next video. Thank you.